and welcome to another episode of the Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and today I have with me Mr. Matt Rosenthal. He is the CEO of Mindcore Technologies, an IT company, and we're going to learn some more about that. But first and foremost, hello, and welcome, and thank you for making time for me today.
Hello, thank you for having me on.
Awesome.
I love your energy. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yes, I try. You know, what you give, you get back, right?
100%. No
Awesome.
question. That's a great topic right there.
There you go. Well, we like to think that what we give, we get back, but on a whole nother thing, sometimes it doesn't happen that way. But we're going to talk about you today. We're going to talk about you. So you, like I mentioned in the intro, you are the CEO of an IT company. Now, before we get into that, there are some people out there that only use this wonderful world of technology for looking at cat videos and Googling recipes on how to make chocolate chip cookies. So please first tell me, what do you do over there at Mindcore Technologies?
So we work with businesses. We don't work with people privately in their homes or anything like that. But we help businesses line up so every business has a goal. Hopefully, there's some plan to stay in business and to be profitable and successful. And so every business has to have their technology lined up with that plan. So if your business plan is to go, to X, Y, Z in the next 1, 3, 5 years, and you don't line up your technology with that, you're going to have a hard time reaching your business goals because you need your technology to support the business. And so we create that alignment. We deliver all the services, typical services. We call it the 3 Cs: cloud, cybersecurity, and collaboration tools like Microsoft Teams. And so those are tools, but at the higher level, it always starts with us having that conversation with business owners or business leaders or management to help them figure out where you're going, what do you want to achieve, and then, okay, what technology makes sense for you to get you there. And then it's strategy, it's budget, it's risk management, it's design. And then, yes, we provide all the solutions. And so it's like that's the order of how we help people and what we do. And we just do it so they don't have to. Like, for me, it's the same thing as looking at, well, I need a lawyer because I bought a house. I know I bought the house. I know I want to close on the house and I want to own it. What do? I need some trusted advisor to help me get from point A to point B. And, it's your accountant, it's your lawyer. We're just another professional service, and we're a trusted advisor.
Good
in
deal.
that way.
Good deal. Now, you mentioned cloud services and cybersecurity. Now, years ago, I'm thinking it might have been like 10 years ago, there was this big news spiel about how these celebrity photos that were stored on the cloud and they got leaked, and it was this big, cyber issue or whatever. So how secure is this cloud phenomenon thing?
I got to just tell you real quick. One of my largest clients is it's one of the largest PR firms in the US. And it was their clients who were the ones whose pictures were taken. And so I actually had gotten phone calls on that from the CEO of this company saying, look, some of these people are our clients, and they were asking us for advice on what they should do, just coincidentally.
Wow. Yeah.
So your question is, how could they be more secure, or how could they avoid
Yeah, I
that?
mean, yeah, like, because it seems like this scary little thing
Yeah.
that you have no control over. So is it safe, or is it a way to make it safer, or is there something? Because I have I know for me, I have security cameras, and some of the stuff is stored on the cloud, and you have your phone. Everything seems cloud these days. Is there a way to safely participate in this cloud experience?
Yeah, if I recall correctly, in that case, it was people's passwords were they were in
Okay.
Apple. It was iCloud. It was the Apple Cloud.
Yes.
The cloud itself is secure, but if somebody gets your password or is able to hack your password, it's a problem. And that was what happened in that case, if it's the same one. But you look, the security in that way starts with you as the individual for the most part, because inherently, if you're in Amazon or Microsoft's cloud, those are popular ones, or anybody's cloud, they really all are doing the right thing, like on their end. Like, they've got their systems secure, like in the back end,
Okay.
and so there's what you can do is you can be aware of, first of all, choosing a good reputable company that you're going to use for your cloud. you know, where the stuff is and know. In fact, one of my clients this morning asked me to send them over there in our Amazon cloud. I had to send them over a document that from Amazon that showed all the security that's in place. So we know that some places are very secure, but you as the consumer or user of that product, you've got to make sure that your own system is secure, that you're not the vulnerability, that your computer isn't the vulnerability, that you don't have cyber potential, you know, open doors or places that can be breached on your system, not so much on your phone, but on your computer or your office network. That's a way that people will still potentially get in and get access to that stuff by coming in the door that way. Maybe
Okay.
not going right at the cloud where Amazon is, like where your stuff is. Nobody's looking for you or me, and they want our pictures.
Okay.
They're looking for something of real value. Well, the celebrities were different because that was valuable. But for everyday businesses, if they're not specifically attacking you because they want your data because they're a competitor and they're really doing something criminal, these people are just surfing around looking for open doors and don't open the door. So make sure you have good antivirus on your computer. Make sure that you do like vulnerability and penetration testing, which is cybersecurity language for making sure that you don't have any openings. And don't do anything dumb. Like don't click on a phishing, you know, email that you're like, wait, I didn't ask for $50,000 to be wired. You know, well, why am I clicking on this link to wire the money? Like that's
my lucky day. I won the lottery. It's
like, right. Oh my God. So it really does come down to like being really smart and using common sense. And if you just, I promise you, if you do that, you'll probably minimize the risk by like 90%. And that you do have control over. Being smart and being aware. Don't walk down a dark alley in a bad neighborhood at 3 o'clock in the morning. You get mugged. Maybe you shouldn't have been there.
Yes, right.
It's kind
Common
of the same
sense.
thing. You have to be aware. And I know that's a very vague and open-ended sort of answer, but it is true. That's where you can control, not doing things that aren't smart. Not doing things that aren't smart. You know what I mean?
I got you. Now, tying in the common sense that you're talking about when it comes to cloud and security and stuff like that. 2020, as we were mentioning before we started taping today, 2020 has presented some new challenges for us, especially when it comes to businesses, employers and employees. A lot of people have transitioned to working at home. So I'm assuming like home networks versus what people had set up in their businesses are different. How do you transition
Very different.
cybersecurity to the home front when you've got so many people working at home now?
I got news for you. As bad as 2020 was, and it's a terrible thing that's going on around us. For people in my business, unfortunately, it's an opportunity for us. For the business is growing in a different way now.
Okay.
Because everybody's working that way, and very few people were prepared to work that way effectively. So the thing you're really asking is like managed versus unmanaged environments. And your office environment was probably managed by somebody, either internal or external IT company. And so there were things in place, and it was probably more secure than somebody's home is, because there's no firewall or switch and all the techie tech stuff that you have in your office. In your house, you have things, but there's nobody watching, there's nobody managing, there's nobody ensuring that all these updates and patches are installed for security, and that you don't have open communication ports letting people into your house. That your computer, at home, I have two young daughters. Sometimes they sit at my computer if I walk away and the screen doesn't lock fast enough, and I'll find one of them doodling with my, the pen I use to write on the screen. And my computer locks pretty quickly. Most people don't have security measures in place in their house or on their computers in their house. Gotcha. And that goes back to that sort of working smart model. Let's say that you still use VPN, which is like a way to connect to your office.
Yeah, I've heard a lot.
If a child, or I don't know, let's say you have a cleaning crew that comes in to clean your house every so often. You don't know who's going to sit down at your computer and start playing around. They're essentially, even though you're in your home, you're still on your company's network. So you're exposing your company's network. So it goes back to training. There's two things. One, you can control the training of your team, of your employees, and make sure that they know what the best practices are when you're working from home to keep things as secure as they can, to the degree that they actually can. And at the end of the day, if you have a model where you really have your business that's really running it out of the cloud, when you're working remotely, if you're working in a cloud, like an Amazon cloud or a Microsoft cloud, even though you're working remotely, you're still only connected to a very secure environment. So inherently, you've secured it by being in a secure place.
Okay.
And, look, the worst case, something bad happens and you're in the cloud. If data gets encrypted or something gets deleted, at least you can restore quickly. Or if somebody wants to hold you hostage for Bitcoin, at least you can say, you know what, I'm not paying you, keep it. I'll just restore from a good backup in the cloud. Like that goes back to having your business strategy and your IT strategy lined up. So we have to accept that the work at home, we don't have to, this is my opinion. The work at home is here to stay, or the work remote is here to stay, at least in a hybrid form.
Okay.
I haven't heard from any business owners, and I deal with a lot, and I talk to a lot that are fully going back to work in the office. I haven't had one person tell me that. And so it does seem like the work at home or work remote is to be at least here to stay in some format. And so you have to focus on those 3 C's. Make sure you have a good cloud solution, a good cybersecurity solution, and a good collaboration tool. And that both sides of it, the office and the home environment, are as managed as they can be. And that's a conversation. If you have 50 or 100 or 500 employees and there's a portion of them that are working at home, how do you tell somebody what to do in their house? Well, we have to figure that out and by the way, the easier answer is you give them a company laptop, and that laptop should be secure and managed.
Okay.
And when they plug into their home network, there's very little that can actually go wrong if that computer is actually managed properly. There's still risk, but it's way, way, way shrunk.
Okay. Now, let me expose a little bit of my ignorance here about this whole IT world, because I heard you say something about your daughters. So let's say you work for a company, I don't know, maybe a city government or maybe insurance or maybe a bank, and you've transitioned to working from home right now, but you also are in this dynamic where your kids are at home. They're at school from home. So is there some sort of transition? Are you guys all on the same security system when everybody's at home? It would seem like you wouldn't want your children doing their school computer work on the same security system that you're doing banking work from, or is it all tied in?
I understand what you're asking. So the thing is, what you're sharing at home is your internet connection.
Mm-hmm.
And most likely there's nothing inherently secure about your internet connection at home. It's just coming in. I think I have Comcast here.
Mm-hmm.
It just comes into my house.
Okay.
There's nothing about it that's secure. What is secure is just 2 things. One, I have a secure Wi-Fi system set up in my house.
Okay.
I have different networks set up, and most people aren't going to do this. I have a network for myself and a network for everybody else, and so there's different passwords.
Okay.
But even that, really, the security that really exists, it's what you're connecting to. So I'm connecting to my company's not Wi-Fi, cloud.
Mm-hmm.
And that uses multi-factor authentication. So nobody can even connect to my company's cloud unless you have the multi-factor authentication. It's like when you go to the bank and you get this 6-digit code texted to you. We use that with all of our clients. That's how we set people up in the cloud. It's one of the important ways to be secure. And so nobody can even get on my company's system from my laptop without the ability to generate that code.
Okay.
But look at my kids. They're logging into the school's website to do their work. Well, they still have to know a username and a password. So what I'm really saying is every place that we're all going, those things are secure because the places we're going are secure. So it doesn't necessarily matter so much that we're all on the same shared Wi-Fi, shared internet connection. What matters is that like where you're going is secure, and that I know that I can't even log into my kids' virtual school because I don't know their password. So they kind of have the same security for me that I have from them. They can't log into my office cloud because there's no possible way.
Okay.
But the thing that could happen that we all share is we walk away from our computers and somebody else sits down at it. And then if it's not locked, you're off to the races. Anybody can do anything.
Okay.
It's really the risk. It doesn't have to do with sharing your home internet connection.
Okay. So we should all set our computer screens to lock after 3 to 5 minutes.
I would say it's annoying, but 60 seconds.
Wow.
It's of no activity.
Okay, 60 seconds of no
or 2 minutes. But I mean, 3 to 5 minutes is a long time. But if you're home and you're alone, and it doesn't make a difference. It's just if you have traffic coming and
coming
going.
in. Okay, understood.
But
Understood.
3 to 5 minutes is still better than nothing, and it's still better than 7 to 10 minutes.
I'm just picturing, some bank executive at home working and, they walk away from the computer and here comes the toddler, just tick, 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 tick. And next thing you know, they've deleted like 10 accounts or something like that. But, that's just
Yeah.
Home Alone TV screen movie stuff here. But let me circle. Go ahead.
I was going to say that the main thing to take away from working at home is just make sure that your computer is as secure and managed as it can be, and don't let anybody else touch it. I mean, that's for business. That's what it comes down to,
Okay. Okay.
Same thing if you're sitting in Starbucks. Don't walk
Yeah.
away from your computer.
Yeah. And they say
And notice that their public Wi-Fi inherently is insecure.
well, I've heard that all
Oh, yeah.
you should be suspicious of all, like when you go to hotels and all of that stuff, it's all easy
Yeah.
for somebody to sit next to you or in close proximity to you and steal all of the information as you're surfing.
100%. 100%. Which is why you have to be careful and put as much security as you can in place on your system so that they can't do that. But you got to be really careful. It goes back to being smart, you know?
So are you saying when you travel, don't use the free Wi-Fi?
If you have to use it, you use it, but you have to have a secure connection to your office,
Okay.
like a VPN. That's a secure connection. Or when we connect to our cloud, we use that multi-factor authentication. We use something called Citrix. We're in Amazon's cloud. So there's like multiple layers of authentication we have when we log into our own cloud. And when we set our customers up or people up in the cloud, this is how we do it. So you're still hackable, but you really have reduced the risk of it happening.
Okay. Okay.
You know?
Now, we've been talking about your company and your clients and what you do. And I want to say before we met today, I did spend some time on your website. And one of the things that I noticed first, you have a video, about an 8-minute video on there introducing your team and your company to the internet world, right?
Right.
And it was very impressive to me for two reasons. One, it seems like you have like the most amazing team that I've ever, look at him smile, right? Not biased or anything, but it really did. I was paying attention to everybody. You seems like you have a wonderful team. And two, your company seems to really be a stickler for customer service, right? And every company says this, but few master it. But it seems like you have mastered it. So I want to ask you, how do you effectively build a team? Because it seems like you've done it.
Yeah, that's a great question. How I've done it is I've had a lot of bad hires over the years. I had to go through my own process over the years of really deciding what values were important to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it always comes back to the same thing, which is like from the day I started this with like one customer, from nothing. And I'm me doing all the work myself, every single thing, including the technical work. I always felt really, really like the weight of obligation to the customer,
Mm-hmm.
to do the right thing and to solve their problems and to service them and to make sure that they were happy. It's like I'm not sure if the right word is visceral. I think that means like it's a gut feeling.
Uh-huh.
It's like that for me. Like I used to it was only up until about a year or two ago that I learned to actually not be like this myself. Like if we got a complaint, it bothered me to all ends of the earth getting a complaint, even if there's nothing we can do about it. And I guess it just goes back to the beginning of like, I just want to provide a service where people are happy. And probably me as an individual, I like for people to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like to disappoint people. I don't like to, to not be accountable or irresponsible. It's just who I am. So that's how the company is.
Okay.
So over the years, as I began to hire people, and when you hire people who don't necessarily have that value system, then your own customers are not going to feel the way that you want them to feel, which is that relationship and that real connection. So what I do now, I started doing I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago. This is a very literal part of the answer. I use what do you call them? Like DISC assessments, like behavior assessments.
Okay.
and personality assessments. And that's one of the first ways that I can look for, there's no right or wrong to it. It's just, it tells me if the person's thinking and behavior is in alignment with my values of how I want the company run. So I can tell if somebody's not going to be a fit. And I've yet to see one be wrong, because I've had situations where, like, this person seems unbelievable, even though there's a red flag right here that tells me that they have a low empathy rating.
Okay.
I would ignore it and hire them because they seem great. And all of a sudden I start to see customer complaints come in because the person isn't very empathetic. And how does somebody come off when they're not empathetic? They come off maybe harsh, not understanding. Well, you can't be like that in our business. So I began to learn over the years that to really not hire for the skill set so much. I can teach anybody how to do IT if they have an ability. I can't teach you empathy and compassion and mindfulness and how to be grateful. I can't teach somebody those values, so we hire for them. And so that's why you've got that coming through the screen when you watch that video.
Yeah.
I can't teach people excitement. I can't teach people to see the glass half full versus half empty, nor do I want to. I just want those people to sort of have that organically.
Who have an intrinsic value. Yes. Yeah.
Over the years, this was hard too, because when I hire people, I'm very, very loyal to people, and I don't like to let people go. And I've learned over the years, by keeping some people for years too long, that that's not good for the customer or the company. And now, if I see something's not as it should be, you try to help people, and you try to kind of get them to be where you want them to be. But there's nothing worse than having a toxic energy in the environment.
Yeah.
And so I have zero tolerance for toxicity. So if I find that there's people on the team that are becoming negative or complaining, we nip it right in the bud.
Okay.
And I always say to people, if you're complaining or you're making excuses or you're negative, don't look around you, look in the mirror and start with that. Okay. Because that's where it starts. It's not anybody around you. It's not anything. So this whole energy and the way that we all, flow together is what it's about. I did a talk on one of our meetings about 3 weeks ago, a staff meeting, which you can see, it's on YouTube. I recorded the staff meeting, 20 minutes. I did a talk about resistance versus flow. And we anytime we feel that there's any sort of resistance with anything, it doesn't feel good. So rather than work in an environment or a situation where there's some sort of resistance, even if it's creative resistance, we have to find a way to always be in a state of flow. And you can think about like a basketball team that's all running down the court and everybody knows where to be and they're catching the ball. You're just flowing like it's a winning team. That's how I think. And I, if anything gets in the way of that, I make a change quickly now. And so how to build a winning team is start by understanding that you have to recognize the people that, not that they're the winning people, but that they jive with what you want to achieve and with your values, because you're the leader, you have the vision, you're the CEO or the owner of the company. That is where it starts. So if I have a vision for the company and people that work in the company that are part of the team don't share that vision or can't get behind it, you're waving a flag, running up the hill, attacking, and everybody's running the other way. That's resistance. And you're never going to get anywhere. So it took me a long time to really figure that all out, but I did. And it's not easy because it's a very, you have to have a lot of discipline, commitment. You have perseverance. Like I've had people for years that were with the company in high enough positions that when they left, I realized like, wait, oh my God, well, I didn't realize that they were blocking this opportunity from happening. And as soon as they left, other people in the company all of a sudden blossomed and were able to move around and advance and grow themselves. Because I maybe have somebody who's somewhat toxic and you don't realize it. You gotta have, here's one of the most important characteristics of a leader. This is the nugget. This is the thing you take out of the whole thing. A good leader sees what nobody else sees. I can see things around me that nobody else around me can see. Great. And it's true. Whether it's an opportunity, whether it's a problem, whether it's an employee that shouldn't be in a position or maybe needs to be in a different position, a process or a workflow that's not right. Somebody speaking to a client saying something that they don't realize it because maybe their emotional intelligence at that moment isn't where it should be, and they're creating, it's anything. So people see this and I see this. I see all I see things that nobody around me sees. And that's actually one of the keys to how I was able to build this company from nothing.
Oh,
So that's a lot of stuff there, but
no, a lot of good stuff, and I'm listening to you talk, and I'm thinking about your business, but I'm thinking about as I go about my day to day, personally, and I'm interacting with different businesses, and how if they had just mastered a portion of what you've been able to put together, it would be better. Because I think sometimes with businesses, the leaning sway is profit over customer service, and so they build it, or they factor in, oh, we're going to have so many complaints, we're going to have a certain amount of customer complaints, that's just the course of doing business, and we're going to have employees that are not happy with their job, but they're going to come because they need the paycheck. That's just the product of doing business. But I think it's more effective all around with employees, customers, the leadership at the top, when they embrace a philosophy as you have. I think and you are, I guess, what we consider a small business, but when I transition this to bigger business, the only bigger business I think that is any way similar to what you do, and I don't even eat there, it's like Chick-fil-A. Like, they have awesome customer service, and everybody's just happy, whatever. But it just seems like it's more effective. And when it comes to employees, I'm assuming it's a lot of dollars investment that you put into training an employee. So if you create a positive environment where somebody wants to stay there, grow there, become their best, it's less money you as a leader of the company have to put out bringing these people, finding, oh, that one didn't work, let me interview
yeah.
somebody else, let me get somebody else. So it was just amazing.
Let me tell you a quick. I was writing some notes when you were talking.
Okay.
I don't want to interrupt you because you just said some really important things. The one thing, the client satisfaction. Client satisfaction is the only reason that you're profitable, in my opinion.
Mm.
But yes, every business is in business to make money. Otherwise, you're out of business. So that's a that's a goes without saying.
Mm-hmm.
But if your product is a service, our product is a service, and most people's products these days are services, unless you're a manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't, even if you're a manufacturer, you could have the best widget in the world. If your client satisfaction and the customer experience isn't up to snuff, they're going to go somewhere else. It's not just about that you have the best one, because I believe underneath it all, people just want to feel good, and they want to feel connected, and they want to feel as a customer that they're being valued. It's all these things that are unspoken that we all, as consumers, all know that we like to feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
You gave an example of Chick-fil-A, and I have been there, and I like it. There's one store that I mean, we don't go anymore. It's hard to go shopping now, but I used to go to a store called Nordstrom's.
Mm.
And when you walk into Nordstrom's, and I used to go there when I was much younger and wasn't financially successful, and I really couldn't even afford to go there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just liked the feeling I got when I bought something. So I would go there and just buy like a shirt. And the people there are trained to be so customer focused and so friendly. And it's more than trained. They're clearly hired for those personality traits.
Mm-hmm.
When you purchase something there, they put it in the bag and they walk around the other side of the counter and they hand it
Yes.
to you and they say, thank you, Matt or Mr. Rosenthal, whatever they're going to do. And they look you in the eye, and at least they used to shake your hand.
Mm-hmm.
I loved that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is the most innate. If you follow Tony Robbins ever, he'll tell one of the most basic human needs of every person is the need to feel important.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at most of the things you do and the reasons you make certain decisions, it's because you want to feel important. People gossip because they want to feel important, because they have more information than you do. That's why they gossip.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you go shopping at a place that makes you feel good, and people understand that in the delivery of that service, they're making you feel important, you have a customer forever.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Nordstrom's forever. What I've done is I translated that into my business, because I really do believe that you should make people feel important. And so we put processes in place. And when I say that we are, sorry, my nose itches.
No.
When we, I make the claim that we have the best customer service in our region. And I believe it to be true because I've yet to come across a company that does what we do. So, and I'm going to say this to give people an idea, not to brag about what we do, because I didn't invent anything. I just took, to me, what's common sense. I'm like, what can we do to ensure everybody's experience is the best possible experience with us, even if we don't fix their problem right away, or even if something doesn't go as planned, they feel good about working with us. When you come, if you call us, we do IT support for people like day to day. So if you call us for an IT problem, and one of our techs helps you over the phone, they have to put their notes into the system, and then they put that ticket in a status called follow-up.
Okay.
We have it's programmed within 24 hours. Somebody has to follow up with that client and say, is your problem still resolved?
Okay.
If that doesn't happen in 24 hours, I get an email, but so does everybody else in the company saying that didn't happen.
Oh.
So it's accountability. Then that happens. And then the following week, so like today's Friday, I think today's Friday. So next week, Nancy in my office is going to pull a report of every single service ticket that was opened last week. And closed. Mm-hmm. She calls every single person again, every single person. And she says, are you still okay? Is there anything new we can help you with? And she then gives a report to me every Friday of any feedback. If we get one piece of negative feedback, we call people right away. Mm-hmm. I can go on and on and on. There's systems like this in our workflow that are non-negotiable. Mm-hmm. To the point where everybody in our company knows if you don't do this, you could lose your job.
Wow.
We'll train you, but if you become like a repeat offender, because I know that the people on the other end, they love getting those phone calls. They love that we're so accountable to them. Mm-hmm. They love that we care about them so much. And so I know we have a limited amount of time, but I can tell you all these processes we have in place. I don't know a single a company that I've come across in our industry, in our region at least, that has anything like this in place. And the reason I know that is because anybody I've ever spoken to that we've taken on from that left other companies, what they complain about is people, the dropping of the ball on a regular basis, not getting things done. And it's accountability. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of anybody saying, oh yeah, they had a system where they would follow up. I've never. So I'm not doing anything special. I'm just applying Nordstrom's to my IT service.
What worked for you? Okay.
Yeah, and it feels good, and people are happy. They feel good, and that, to your other point, that client satisfaction, we have a very, very high retention rate because people like working with us, and they give us a little bit more of a benefit of the doubt when something goes wrong because we do make mistakes. Mm-hmm. We do make a billing mistake sometimes. We do sometimes not fix the problem right away. We're not perfect. Everybody, you do your best, and sometimes you have a complaint. Mm-hmm. But when that complaint comes in, I no longer feel pain from it. I look at the complaint as an opportunity to solve a process problem now in the company. And every complaint is looked at as something, how do we avoid this complaint from ever happening again? And we're consistently improving. Mm-hmm. I have somebody in my company whose title is manager of process and workflow. All he does is figure out how to make us more efficient and service our customers better. That's his job.
Great.
Right. So sorry, I wanted to tell you that because I think that's valuable to people in business.
Yeah.
That's how you stay in business through a pandemic. That's how you retain customers. That's how you build friendships with customers and real meaningful relationships that are built on trust.
Okay. Now it seems, it seems like we were talking about common sense. And as I'm listening to you talk, I'm kind of going around in my mind of the different places that, I experience customer service at. And I'm going to ask a question, and if you can give input, maybe not. There's a particular company that I'm thinking of, a big box store. And it has a history, a reputation for providing bad customer service over and over and over again. Low prices, spread across America, and I think it's in other countries, whatever. Household name.
Starting with a W.
Yes, but it is known for bad customer service. Yet the customer continues, even though they're not treated importantly, even though they know they're going to get bad service, even though they know the employees are just miserable. It still seems to create an influx of customers. why does it pay off to have bad customer service?
That's so interesting. They chose to position themselves in the market as the low cost supplier.
Mm-hmm.
And there's clearly a huge market for people that don't care about the customer service. They truly just want to spend as little as possible, which is understandable.
Mm-hmm.
And so they don't care. They'll go in there and they know what they need. They know how to get it. They don't care about the customer service. They just want to, people live on a budget. So they want to spend as little as possible. If they wanted customer service, they wouldn't shop there. They would go to, my area where I am right now, just a food store called Publix.
Mm-hmm.
They have
that place.
Okay, they have. I happen to think they have very good customer service,
Mm-hmm.
but there's even better ones around here. One place is Publix has a brand of their own called Greenwise. It's their organic, higher end, like Whole Foods version of Publix. You go in there and somebody sees you looking around. How can I help you? They'll walk you right to what you need.
Mm-hmm.
It costs more. So I choose to go there for a couple of reasons. One, I like the quality of the food better. And two, I like the way I'm treated, like Nordstrom's.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to just spend as little as possible and I didn't care about how I felt when I was there, I don't even know I'd go to ShopRite.
Right. I just want the best price. Get in, get out. Don't ask me any questions,
Well, Walmart knows that, and that's their market position. And when we first meet any new potential client that we're going to do business with, we interview them. We ask them about 15 questions because we don't just work with anybody that wants to work with us. And here's the reason. This is part of what you're saying. I'll say to somebody, tell me about your business and tell me about your market position in the business. In other words, are you the low cost, middle of the road, high end boutique?
Okay.
And I look for that answer from people because inevitably when they get to talking about us and our position, we're not Walmart, but we're also not the Mercedes or we're good value boutique, not overpriced, but we're certainly not the cheapest.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I'm not going to get somebody who wants the Walmart of IT companies. They're not going to come to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I've made the choice to not want to work with them either because they don't fit my values.
Yes.
And they don't look at the investment in IT in a way where they're going to really budget for it. Well, Walmart knows that about their shoppers, So it's a choice, and it's very smart for them. It's a great business model, very low margins, but high volume.
Yes. It just doesn't seem, and I see online and stuff, everybody's always complaining, yet they still have business. And it's like, why do we as a society, because it has a large generation of customers. Yeah. So why do we as a large population, a large sector of the population choose to be mistreated even for the pricing?
Wow. That's such a brilliant question.
Because everybody's, everybody that you,
money.
Yeah, it has to be the price point.
My father-in-law will drive 20 minutes to save 5 cents on a gallon of gas. I'm like, but you just drove you drove to get the gas, and it's like, really, like your time is worth more than the 5 cents per gallon savings. What is the 5 cents you're going to save on 20 gallons? What is it, $1? You're going to save for $2 or $3 on gas? Not to in any way be condescending if somebody wants to save $3 on gas.
But you got to weigh it out.
I really did. And I understand what that feels like on that level and everything in between.
Yes.
But what I've learned over my life is that my time is more valuable to me than the $3.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have the $3 to spend on the gas, I'd rather have my time.
Yes.
And I don't want to walk into Walmart and spend 3 hours fighting the crowds and looking around this huge store for stuff I can't figure out where it is, because my time is so important to me.
That's right.
That's just me. But I think for the masses, I think people literally just are price cost sensitive, and it is really important for people to stay on their budget and not have to create stress for themselves of overspending.
Yeah.
Which we have to be sensitive to. It's a lot of people are having a time, but even when times are great, we all love a good deal.
And it's just a toss up, because you hear us, it's a toss up because people are saying like we want a good deal, but yet we want to be treated right with the good deal. But it just seems like there's a sacrifice. If you want a good deal, you're going to have to put up with being mistreated because it's so cheap that the company is cutting corners on so many other areas, because you go to Publix, you mentioned, and I'm pretty sure their employees are paid more than maybe the Walmart employees. So, there's more cost put into running the company, which creates a better product. So I'm
But you're
assuming.
right. I mean, it's almost like an arrogance, like, wow, we're Walmart and we don't actually now I don't even know that I want to shop there as we're having this conversation. Why shouldn't we be treated well? Like, why shouldn't you invest? Walmart is a huge company and they make tons of money. Why shouldn't they hire people that have more of a customer service or customer friendly attitude? Why shouldn't they train more for that? Why should we go shopping there and give them our money and not be treated well? Because you're right. In Walmart, you don't get treated so well. Um, and you deserve to be treated well. And you're a patron, and it's true. But yet you're right. People go back and they don't seem to care.
And I guess it's all about price.
We could do a whole show on that.
I know, right?
We should bring on a
And
psychologist.
it's funny and it's just when you listen to the conversations or you read the articles or the moaning and groaning online, it's like, okay, I want to be treated well as a customer, but yet I need to go here, but I don't know. It just seems like a whole mental issue with the whole Walmart experience, because there's other big box stores like in California we have Target, and the shopping experience in Target is completely different.
You go there all the time.
Completely different.
What about like, Home Depot versus Lowe's? You know those two stores?
Yes.
One of them has way better customer service, in my opinion, than the other. And I prefer to go there. Just by the way, to me, it's Lowe's. And any place I've lived, I always prefer to go to Lowe's because I feel better, treated better in the store. And I feel that when I go to Home Depot and I ask somebody a question, I feel like I'm bothering them.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's about to be my lunch break. Why are you asking me a question?
Yeah,
like, sorry. Okay.
It goes back to what I was saying before. What's really must be different is the leadership vision in those two companies and what they value most, because it is, what's the word? It's like systematic. It's like a culture. The culture of those two companies clearly are very different.
Yes.
And we can feel it as a consumer. And why would somebody want to work in a company in general if, like you said before, they're just going there to get a paycheck? I talked to my company about that 3 weeks ago. I spoke about that too. And I said, if you're just waking up every morning to get a paycheck, it must not feel good. And I know that I've been there and it doesn't feel good. My responsibility is to have a vision that is inspiring, that I believe so much in, that I have enough passion about, that you all want to be a part of it. And that's why everybody should be coming here every day. Yes, we all need a paycheck. I get one too. We all need a paycheck. But I don't want to wake up every day just to go collect a check. Like I love every day. I have the best time every day doing what I do. And just doing this type of thing is even more fun than doing my actual job. But the thing is, this is part of my job because the messages that I'm able to get out, my team sees these talks I do. And it does help to inspire them because they know that it's real, authentic, how I feel, and that's what they're part of. It's not just lip service. And I couldn't do as many podcasts as I do and talk to as many people as I do and have these themes be so commonly weaved throughout them all if it wasn't true. So they all, I said to them that it's up to you to have your own passion. I can't fuel you, but I can give you a place where there is passion and there is vision and you can get lit up if you want to, but I can't make you like feel passion and feel inspired. That's something that you've got to feel it in yourself. I inspire myself. And what I mean by that is like, I'm motivated, and I watch other people. I watch, Gary V, Mylett and Grant Cardone and, I can get down the list of all these people that I watch. I can't think of them all right now. Tim Robbins, Tim Robbins, he's the actor. Tony Robbins, Shawshank Redemption, and they inspire me. But it just keeps me focused on my own vision. I'm not inspired for a moment and then I go back to being uninspired. I'm inspired because I'm grateful to be on this planet alive and have such a wonderful life. and I want everybody around me to feel the same way. And so to the best that I can do as the leader of a company or a person who has this ability here to reach some other amount of other people, you should realize that it does start with you, and you've got to be able to have the mindfulness and the awareness and the presence and the peace inside of you to be grateful. And that's where it starts. And from there, you can feel love and versus anger and fear, which blocks you feeling anything else.
Mm.
And I tell my employees these things. I talked about it this morning on my Friday meeting. We talked about this, and everybody gets involved in the conversation, which creates passion for the company.
Great, great.
So
It all goes in. I
it
think
all goes together.
I think that if more companies mastered your leadership style, because the scientific research is out there that backs it up, that when you have leaders of companies like yours, you have less sick time, you have more worker productivity, you have more creative teams coming up with ideas how to run the company more effectively. It's just a win-win for everybody involved when you have leaders of companies that have philosophies and mindsets like yours.
I made a note when you were talking before, and you just actually said it. Creativity is like one of the most important things. Did you ever notice when you go? You notice, of course, you have. When you go to a movie and you sit there and you feel like you were there for 2.5 hours, and you're like, wait, it feels like a minute.
Mm-hmm.
That's the creative part of your brain. I think I'm not a psychiatrist. I think it's a frontal lobe or something. But there's a part of your brain that you lose track of time when you're in a creative state of mind, because you're so inspired, because you're creating, and there's so much going on, and it feels so good to be in a creative. You don't have to be a painter or a musician to be creative. You could be working on a project team thinking about how to engineer somebody's servers, and we get into this place like a mastermind, like where there's 4 or 5 of us in a room, and we all just become one, and it's like you're flowing, and that's a lot of fun, and that carries you through the rest of the day, the rest of the week sometimes.
Yes.
And for that reason, in my own company, we have a lot of meetings, but the meetings are always based on creativity. I have a whiteboard everywhere I am. If I spun this around, you'd see the whiteboard on my home office. There's a whiteboard in every single room in my office in New Jersey. There's a whiteboard, every room. I'm not kidding. In my office I'm in Florida right now, but I have an office here. There's a whiteboard down there. No matter where we are, we have to be able to stop and put ideas down and go back to them. And the note that I wrote for myself was that we set aside time to be creative. And I look for creativity when I hire people. So our conversation's all going in a circle here in a way, because it's all connected. Okay. And when people are creative and they're happy, they're happier at work, they're better with customer service, we're more profitable, clients are happy, it's all connected. We don't have a lot of turnover. The people that are in my company now are some of them have been here for years and years and years. The guy I mentioned to you, my workflow and process guy, has been with me for at least 12 years. He was with me when the company didn't even exist. Like he was a consultant I used when we first started out. My other guy, my top tech guy, was with me. We started out together 10 years ago. And he and I have some of the most creative conversations you can imagine. Right now, we're having creative conversations about how do we pivot to match the new market needs from work at home and deliver collaborative tools and cyber and cloud in this new leveled playing field in a way where it makes sense for people. He's doing all sorts of R&D right now, and like that's not what he's supposed to be doing. Yeah. But we it's such a creative place that he's running with it, and I'm like, you know what? Just keep going. Just go. Great. And he's happy. He's inspired because he's doing all this. And I'm like, I'm not going to get in the way of that.
That's great. And now I'm thinking, when you spend a large portion of your day at work, 8-10 hours a day, and if you're happy, I think it translates into so many other areas of your life. You go home, you have a happy family environment. I mean, just everything is just this wonderful Disney World kind of, it's a wonderful world kind of thing, when you're happy at work, and you have wonderful leadership, and I'm inspired, and I feel like I have value at my job. I'm contributing to something that's bigger than me. I just think that's beautiful. You know what, Matt? I could talk to you like forever, ever. And we have gone over the 30 minutes, and I think I better shut up because I'm going to ask you a question and it's going to be another 30 minutes. But you're in Florida, right? Right now?
Yeah, yeah.
What is it with Jersey and New Yorkers? You guys just love to go to Florida. What is that about?
You know, it's so funny. My neighborhood, I live here now. My neighborhood is everybody in my neighborhood is from New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut.
See?
Everybody in this neighborhood. I mean, there's about 500 houses in my development. Everybody's from the
No
Northeast.
shoveling snow. Is that what it is? You don't have to shovel snow anymore. Or what?
There's no more snow. It hasn't snowed here that I'm aware of ever.
I'm just like everybody in Florida, like, okay, it's just no Florida people. It's just all New Yorkers and New Jersey people. Okay, we're going to do the random question, Matt.
If I can't answer it, you got to give me a second question.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, but I haven't had anybody not be able to answer, so we'll see what we got here. What is one item on your bucket list?
Oh my God, I was just going through this conversation with my wife the other day.
Okay, see?
So I never actually, this was a more recent one. I would actually like to jump out of a plane with a parachute, obviously.
Hopefully with the
I have the nerve to do it, but that's something I want to do. I've never been like I've never had a huge desire to travel outside the country, but I don't know, maybe it's because I'm getting older. I really want to go to Italy.
Italy's nice.
I'm not Italian, but
I learned to ski.
I just want to go there. And I mean, there's probably a long list of things, but those are two.
Okay, go to Italy. Italy is beautiful. That was the first place I learned how to ski. So go to Italy. Get on a plane. Well, after COVID. After COVID.
You know, hopefully we can go sometime next year. Who knows?
Hopefully. Well, they're saying things will not be back to normal till 2022, but we're going to, hopefully that'll speed up.
Your question?
Sure.
This is a good way to end it. Did you get what you were hoping to get out of your talk with me today?
I got more than what I was expecting, because I start with my little list of questions and I tell it it's all organic, whatever direction it goes, but I got more than what I was expected from what I went into it with, because I was like, okay, this is an IT computer guy, like, oh, they're so nerdy, geeky, this is going to be like, all righty, this 30 minutes is dragging on, but you were so enjoyable to talk to. So I got more than what I expected.
Good. Now I'm happy.
Okay, great. So tell everybody, because well, let me ask you this first. Okay. Do you have like you work more so with smaller companies, mid to small? Do you do large corporations?
We do. We work. It's different. We do different things for different size companies. So okay. We work. So small business to me is up to 500 employees is like a small business.
Okay.
But that's also a huge company to me. But
okay.
That really is considered a small business. So we have a lot of clients that have 10 or 20 people, and we have clients that have 500 people. We just do different things for them. Okay. There's really not many companies that are bigger than that have a huge need for our services.
Okay.
But we do things for larger companies like project management and just some strategic things like that maybe they need some outsourcing on. Okay. Our primary like ideal partner or customer is somebody who outsources their IT and they want a better experience. That's us. And they want like a real like strategic type of relationship where they're getting more guidance and knowledge and experience and on the IT. And even if you have like 2 or 3 IT people in-house, we still have clients that supplement with us because we have a broader range of experience and knowledge.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much most companies out there, or, 10 to 500 employees. That's a lot of companies.
Okay. And you provide services across the United States?
Yeah. Our cloud business, we have clients all over the country.
Okay.
We used to have a very large law firm that had their base in the Philippines, and we used to provide their cloud to them, but we have clients all over the country.
Okay.
And so we are able to do all of our services, even the ones that require us to go into people's offices. We're able to do them pretty much all over the country because we have partnerships with, if we need smart hands to go into an office.
Okay.
But everything, look, it all feeds up to, like I said before, cloud. Everybody's moving to the cloud. So your cloud journey, we're really great with that. Cybersecurity, we're great with that. And collaboration tools, which is your telephone system and like Teams or Google, whatever you're using, that's pretty much everything that most people are using now, and that's what they need help with, but they don't know what to do. They don't know how to get there. They don't know what the journey is. And then once they're there, and then the day-to-day IT support. We do all of that, hardware, software, day-to-day IT support. We do all of it.
Okay. Well, you guys that do all of that, please tell us how we get in touch with you if we possibly need you.
So you can email me directly. It's M8. So are you going to put this on the screen when you edit it? So you'll flash this on this video. So it's Matt, Matt.Rosenthal, Rosenthal, at mind hyphen, there's like a dash, mind-core.com.
Okay.
But you'll put that on the screen. And I'm also on LinkedIn. The best thing to do is just go on LinkedIn or even YouTube. Just Google me. I'm all over the place now.
Okay.
There's a lot of content out there. Just send me a message. Okay. And we don't have to even work together, but if I can help mentor you in some way or just put you on the path to like what you should do, I talk to everybody and I'm happy to give advice and guidance. And you don't have to feel like so there's some like you're gonna have to work with me. You can just ask me a question and then go back to your own IT company and say, hey, I think we should do this or that. I'll be happy to give you advice.
So will we be seeing any team building classes, workshops coming up soon, perhaps, for companies?
What I'm doing is I'm starting to take, you're not going to have formal classes, although that's a good idea. What I do for people, I do it for my clients and my friends because I love it, is the mentoring piece of it, where I'll have a long conversation with somebody and I'll give you ideas of what you can do, like to really bring your team together.
Okay.
And what you could do as a leader to look at yourself and change yourself to be a better leader. I would love to have those conversations. That has nothing to do with IT, but that is a big part of where I, as an individual, am beginning to move into spending a lot of time mentoring people.
It's a big part of your leadership. It's a big part of your leadership style.
But what you can do is you can look at my videos because I talk about a lot of this, and you can start to watch for more of my videos to be more of my own staff meetings.
Okay.
You can watch me and just steal my stuff. But if it makes sense for you, to do what I do. If it feels right to you. We
need some invitations to your staff meetings. Maybe that's what we need.
We can do that. Oh, I'm not sure if my staff would be comfortable with everybody watching, but
we have some guests today for the staff meetings.
I had somebody actually watch that video from 2 weeks ago and send me a message saying, this was priceless. I'm going to show your staff meeting to my staff at my next meeting. Great. And that made me feel really good because now I know I actually impacted somebody.
That's great. I love it. I love it. I really like your style. I just wish a lot more companies would really see the benefit in it. And like I said, I think sometimes they get sidetracked with profit, and at all cost, it's profit over, just being a good leader. So
one and the same. But so you can find me on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and you can just shoot me an email. Look, if somebody needs some IT services, you should reach out to me and we should at least talk. And if it feels right, you just sort of know, and maybe we'll work together. If you just want advice, still call me or message me anyway, and I'll give you some advice.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Matt, I've had a good time, a wonderful time, an educational time talking to you today. And I appreciate your time that you gave me. I really enjoyed it.
Likewise. This is a lot of fun.
Awesome.
You did a good job.
You can only give what you get what you give. We had that conversation earlier, right? Awesome. That is all for this week's episode of The Male Perspective. I am your host, Lana Reid, and I will see everybody next time.